Hi guys, we're outside Lancaster Town Hall where a local homeless man, Paul Fox, has chained himself to the town hall in protest at the plight of homeless people nationwide. So here we are, here's the chain. He's chained himself on the padlock. He's chained himself to the town hall in Lancaster as a protest at his own situation, but more generally at the plight of homeless people nationwide. So, Paul, I believe you've been here for
17 months.
17 months. So this is, you've spent 18 months, 17, 18 months living outside here.
I've had a few days, going and people for a bath and stuff, but most of the time it's been spent here.
Okay, so most of the time has been spent here for the last 18 months. Gosh, what's that been like?
It's not been, it's not been very pleasant. Obviously when the weather, it's all right when the weather's warm and stuff, but when it's bad weather, you know what I mean, it's obviously you get wet through and stuff like that. How do you dry your clothes? Don't forget you're not cooking meals, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You have to go to takeaways, which is not nourishing food, isn't it? And you can, obviously, you know what I mean, it can affect your health, which is done with me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm suffering with health problems now, and I attribute it to sleeping in the street.
Sure. So,
absolutely.
yes.
And I say, the council always makes statements saying that they've helped people, they help people. Well, we've actually caught them out with lies on numerous occasions, and we've got video footage of their lies.
Okay, well I do have to say that the council have they say that they have helped you.
Well, no, obviously, because you're going to say that in their defence.
Sure.
So they've helped me that much, why have I been here for 17 months then?
So you're saying that the council says that you were offered housing and they've tried to help. On the other hand, you and your supporters say that they've reneged on that in the last few days. Despite having offered you accommodation recently, they then reneged on it. The council does have a different version of events, I should say. So, but in terms of just what it's like being homeless in the middle of a pandemic, can you expand on that for us, please?
It's not really, obviously, you're there, and I say, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah,
most people go to a normal life, don't they?
Yes.
You know what I mean? The tea on the table. So when you're in the street, you've nowhere to go, and all the time, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just you're not eating properly, and obviously people turn to alcohol and drug issues and stuff like that. And what it is, obviously, you know what I mean? It can undermine you know what I mean? Yourself thinking, well, life's not worth living. Do you understand?
Sure.
And there's people dying in the streets. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And people like this council here, right? They always come out with statements defending themselves. Okay. Now, if they were innocent of anything, I wouldn't be here doing this demonstration, would I? And this is councils up and down the country. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? If I was here, if they were lovely and they put me, why would I be chaining myself to a building?
Okay.
Come on. We've actually caught him out. My colleague here, you know what I mean? And obviously he's, guided to this. We've caught him out with many lies. He's got accommodation. He's got this.
Okay. So your case has actually gained quite a bit of momentum in Lancaster and generally online with the digital campaign group called Buzz Text Reports, which has taken up the case and which helps people on the streets every night.
Aware of the longer picture of this. Yeah. In my opinion, this government have failed in their housing policies. You know what I mean? It's absolutely gone nowhere.
Okay. So the government's failed in its housing policies.
Yeah. I'd like to speak to the housing government. You know what I mean? The minister.
If you had a message, do you have a message for Boris Johnson?
Yeah, I've got a message for Boris Johnson. Right? Can you, tell your housing minister he's got to readdress these housing issues because people are dying. They're in the street. They're despondent. This is unacceptable, isn't it? Come on, we're in 2022 now. We don't live in 1822, do we? Why should people have to sleep in the street and stuff there?
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean? It does beg a belief, really.
And you're doing this on behalf of all homeless
everybody
people.
who sleeps in a doorway, sleeps on a couch, sleeps in somebody's flat. Everybody should have a right to have a home. Yeah. And I'm not here trying to stir any trouble up. I'm just here to tell, I think this government have failed in their policies, especially the housing policy. They're not building enough houses, they put you in bed and breakfast, which is not suitable. Families, they go in bed and breakfast, it could be there 12 months, 18 months, and while we're waiting for accommodation. I know things don't happen overnight with magic wands, but obviously a lot of them sort of, sitting down on their dragging her feet, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. So, so obviously this is quite an ordeal being here and being.
Well, oh yes, well,
outside.
my ordeal's not as bad as say. A lady with 3 children who's in bed breakfast in say Blackpool, you know what I mean? I've just used that
as an example.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sunday housing. She could be there years. I've seen the documentary, you know what I mean? And I think it's got worse instead of better. So obviously, if I've got a message for Boris Johnson, I'll meet Boris Johnson here, but he wouldn't meet me, you know what I mean? Or the housing minister, and say, you know what I mean? This is unacceptable. Absolutely. You've got to address these issues.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm passionate about this.
Okay.
I'll stay here forever. No doubt about that.
So you're planning to stay here in the long term?
Yeah, until we see housing policies changed by this government. They should bow their head in shame. People sleep in doorways.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have health problems, don't you?
Oh yeah, I'm not a well man. I accumulate this to a lot of it. My health issues to sleep in here. So I mean, other people have the and the NHS say, well, people, you know, it's costing millions for people who are ill and stuff like that, aren't they, right? But obviously, you sleep in the street, you're going to get ill. Then you go to the health authority, that's going to cost more money. And if you're housed in the first place, you'd save money, wouldn't you?
Sure,
I mean, it's just common sense. This government seems to lack a lot of common sense, especially on the housing issues.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of people feel the same way as well.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why I'm here doing this. You know, I didn't want to cause any trouble or alarm or distress to anybody. But obviously, people have got to, when you're in a job, do the job. If you're not, leave the job and give it somebody who'll do it. This gentleman here behind me, you know what I mean, he does more than these people behind me. And you know what I mean, absolutely, he goes up and down the country. The
support worker from the digital campaign group, Buzz Text Reports,
that's
which is highlighted.
He goes up and down the country saving people. Where the council, you know what I mean, if he did his duty, this man could rest at home and see his family. But he's out, you know what I mean, 18 hours a day looking for people. He found me in the doorway and put me up, you know what I mean. Without me meeting this gentleman, I'd have probably still been sat here and spat on by these. Because that's how I feel that they're doing, speaking to I'm an insignificant person. I tell you what, I'm a human being.
A lot of supportive comments here. Sorry to interrupt. We have a lot of support here from commentators here, from people leaving messages on our live broadcast. So Katie Louise Scarrett says, from what I understand, you're campaigning to have the housing policy changed.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's failing. Absolutely. I mean, if it was not failing, why are people still sleeping in the street?
Okay, thank you.